In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this heavy-duty fender for my fat bike. So this is made out of 1/4-inch plywood. And it's going to hold this shape. It barely bends. But how do you shape 1/4-inch plywood like this? You start off with 1/8-inch plywood like this. And you get 2 pieces of it. And once you line this with glue and you clamp it, it will hold that shape and it won't budge a hair. It will hold that exact shape that you glue it to. So we're going to basically glue it to this shape right here, and we're going to make a fender. It's simple. And then we need a bracket, which I have on here. Bolted to the bottom side. And you want to use a heavy bracket because I don't want to use any supports down here to support this, and I don't want this bending. So if you get this too thin, I might have gone overboard with this big of a bracket, but I don't want this to bend. And I've run it with these big brackets and they don't bend, so I'm sure this is going to be fine. The 1/8-inch plywood that you need for this job, they don't sell it at Home Depot or Lowe's. The only place I found it is at hardwood lumber stores. And also I went online, and Rocklear Woodworking also sells it. At least that's what it says online. I haven't been to the stores. And they sell it in smaller sheets. The hardwood lumber store is going to sell it in larger sheets. I buy it in a 5x5 sheet for $12. And the wood bends one way, but it doesn't bend the other way. Barely. So you use the bendy way. But when you cut this, you're going to have a little bit of chip out on this because the grain's going this way and we're cutting it on this side here. So you can score it with a razor blade or a X-Acto knife first and then cut it, and you won't have as bad chip out. You also can put blue tape on it as you cut it, and that should help prevent any chip out. So now we're going to glue this up. All right. Well, that should hold it from slipping. And this clamp is bigger, so I should be able to clamp it in the middle. That other one was clamping it on the side. Looks good. see if one of these ones fit. Okay, here's my piece that I wanted to put down here. I wanted to flare the end kind of. So I got about 2 inches extra on the length there that I'm going to trim up. So it's been a couple hours since I've glued this up. So it should be okay to take this off now. Let me sand it up, see what we got. So I have to shape this piece to fit on here. Actually, it's going to go like this. So I'm going to shape this. Just a little bit more. That should be perfect right there. So on here, these holes are off-centered. So I'm going to mount the fender using this hole right here. So I'm going to center that hole here. So this bracket's not going to be in the center. It's going to be off center a little bit, because I want to make sure that that hole right there is in the center. So this is my finished fender. I cut the end of the bracket off. The hole is in the center. The bracket lifts off center, but the hole should be centered. So the way we're going to mount this, the biggest bolt that I can get through the frame, the hole in the frame, is 1/4 inch. I'm going to put washers on each end, then a split lock washer, then the bolt on the end is one of these nylon stop nuts. The nylon in the end. This will not come loose once I tighten that down. And that's how we're going to mount this up. flat washer, lock washer, nylon stop nut. So I think the fender turned out pretty well.